What's up, guys? Welcome to the Jank Tank, where we try to win with the dumbest thing that I can possibly think of. Today, we're going to be playing something that I've been brewing up for a couple days now, something a little bit spicy. We have Mono White Human Prison. Probably not the best name for a deck, but I'm sticking with it. This is sort of a iteration of Soldier Stompy, if you've seen that deck before. I know Pleasant Kenobi has done a video on Soldier Stomping before. But this is slightly different. Rather than focusing on the obviously overpowered tribal that is soldiers, we decided to focus on the much more diluted and unique tribal of humans, because there's just not enough. There's not really that many good humans, so I thought it'd be pretty funny to make a deck out of it. So what do we got going on here? So this is first and foremost a prison deck. We're a single color, just white. You can see from all the basic planes. We are a Chalice of the Void deck. Got 4 of them here. We have 4 Trinispheres. Got 4 of them here. And then a bunch of other hate pieces that are also creatures. We have 4 Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, to help us against basically anyone that's going to be casting spells. We have 4 Thalia Heretic Cathar to deal with our opponents trying to play lands or creatures or whatever. This is especially good against fetch lands, because if your opponent plays a fetch land, it comes into play tapped, and then when they fetch, that land comes into play tapped as well. So it can definitely ruin some people's days. We have 4 suppression fields. This is another fun hate piece. If you haven't seen this before, Soldier Stompy uses this as well. Activated abilities get turned off. Essentially, having them cost 2 more is, for a lot of decks, just unfeasible. The most important thing that we're turning off with this, or taxing, I guess, is fetch lands. So this is sort of like a pseudo mana hate piece. But it also does things like, make planeswalkers harder to use, and other just general utility things harder to use. Wasteland, it makes Wasteland harder to use as well. And speaking of Wastelands, we also have 2 Tomic Distinguished Advocist, also a human. Also makes land-based combos like Dark Depths or, basically just Dark Depths, right? Harder to pull off. Turns off Wasteland as well. Also turns off Ren and 6. If you haven't realized yet, this deck is like almost entirely built to try and beat Rug Delver and Ren and 6, and also Storm. I just played against it so much, that meta, those couple decks, and I wanted to try and beat it out in as stupid a way as I possibly could. So this turns off Ren and 6. This makes Ren and 6 cost a lot more. This makes Ren and 6 basically unfeasible to use. Thalia makes Ren and 6 worse as well, because the things come into play tapped. Also doesn't die to Ren and 6, which is pretty good. And then to fill out the rest of our deck, we have some dumb humans. We have 1 Sanctum Prelate. That card's pretty good. Basically an extra copy of a pseudo Chalice of the Void, but also could do things like name 4 against Storm, and in game 1 they literally just lose. Even against decks like Mono Red Prison, you can name 3 and maybe steal a win that way. We have 3 Recruiter of the Guard to just go ahead and fetch up any of our other humans. Honestly, this lady, I guess the art depicts it as a woman, mainly is going to go underneath your Chromoxes. Like some of these hands are so explosive with the hate that they have that you just kind of want to turn this card into some mana under Chromox. We have 4 Mirren Crusader. This bad boy, I guess can't really tell what this one is as well, but it's some sort of Phyrexian human thing. Gets around Tarmogoyfs and Abrupt Decay and Gurmag Angler and Hooting Mandrills. And does a pretty good job of beating down as well. So you can sort of chip through if your opponent is playing some of that stuff, or you can actually defend against it as well, which is pretty damn nice. We got 3 Palace Jailers, because against so many decks, this card is just ridiculous. Getting to remove one of your opponent's creatures for essentially the rest of the game is pretty good. Against control decks, this is just draw an extra card for the rest of the game. also is a human. So, we're going to be playing it. We have 2 Heroes of Bladehold. This was not in the Soldier Stompy deck. These cards are basically our closers. If one of these is sort of on the board uncontested, you're going to be winning the game in a turn or two, depending on how much damage your opponent has already taken. So definitely can help close things out. And then we also have 2 Riders of Gavany. I didn't even know this card existed. I was just Googling for good humans. But I think there's actually some merit to this. If we have a Cavern of Souls out, it costing 4 mana, between Chrome Moxes and Ancient Tombs and whatever, is not really that unfeasible. It can come out on turn 2, turn 3. And against creature-based decks, it really actually can help us. Basically playing with like Plague Engineer and stuff has made me realize that getting to shut off certain tribes is just really good. It actually allows us to get around True Name Nemesis in the Rug matchup as well. Their True Name can still attack us, like we can't block them, but they can't block our things if we choose Merfolk or Rogue or whatever. In the sideboard, we have some more hate pieces. We have 2 Containment Priests to deal with Sneak and Show and whatnot. 2 Aethersworn Canonists to deal with Storm and other spellcasty things. 3 Rest in Peace to deal with anything dealing with the graveyard. This is also especially good because it can come out on turn 1 with all of our acceleration. We have 2 Council Judgments just to deal with, slower matchups where we got to deal with, some sort of permanent that is annoying, True Name, some sort of Planeswalker, whatever. We have another Sanctum Prelate just to kind of go alongside the one we already have in the main board. We have 2 Cataclysms. So in some of the more creature-oriented decks, if you can get ahead on board, you can just absolutely win after casting this. And a lot of our hate pieces are also different types of cards. So if we have like a Chalice of the Void or a Trinisphere and a Suppression Field and a Thalia Heretic Cathar, and we just made our opponent sacrifice like all their lands, they're probably not going to be winning that match. So this card has definitely won me some games. And then we're wrapping up with 3 Leyline of Sanctity just to go against Storm and Burn and other stuff like that. I don't know. I just kind of threw it in. Thought it would be another good card to mess around with. So yeah, I don't really even know if this deck is that good. I've sort of been playing casually with it. I haven't done a league with it yet, but when I do win, it is pretty frustrating for the opponent, I imagine. So we're going to try and see if we can sort of cheese our way through a league with mono, white, human, prison. Okay, see you in the first match. All right, here in match number 1, we are on the draw. This deck is way better on the play because you can just hate people out before they get to do anything, but really depends what our opponent's playing. So what do we got here? We have some hate stuff. So we have a turn 2 Trinisphere, and it's a fairly guaranteed turn 2 Trinisphere because we can lead on a plains that probably won't get disrupted in any way, and then we can go Ancient Tomb into Trinisphere. We have 2 Trinispheres in case the first one gets dazed. We also have a Suppression Field. Not much after that, so it's kind of like a slower hand. We don't have Chrome Mox to kind of do this all in turn 1, but we do have a little bit of resiliency. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this. It gets a little bit harder to get more fast hands once you start mulliganing because we utilize Chrome Mox and stuff so much. Also, Chalice of the Void isn't as good on the draw. All right, so our opponent is playing some sort of Delver, perhaps 4-color. Another Suppression Field. All right, we're just going to lead on plains, make them think that we're on, I don't know, Death and Taxes or something. The Delver is annoying, though. That can definitely start chipping away at us. In game 1, the only thing we have to really deal with that is our Palace Jailers, and then we have the Tomic that has flying that can technically block it as well. But other than that, we don't have too much going on. So what my hope is going to be is to play some hate stuff and then sort of figure out a way to deal with that. Technically, Mirran Crusader can race it, I guess, if we get that far. All right, opponent goes Ponder. maybe they're mana screwed as well. In which case, the Trinisphere might be able to sort of just take away the rest of the game. Sure, they have a Delver that we're going to have to deal with, so we are in a clock, but if we can get rid of any future turns. All right, so they did draw lands at some point, or they had a land or whatever. All right, what do we have here? Okay, so Sanctum Prelate. Well, we can't cast that, so we're still going to be on the old Trinisphere plan. Let's see if our opponent has Daze or Force of Will or something. All right, let's see. They're fetching Spell Pierce. Yeah, Spell Pierce. Okay. And I will not pay for that. All right, so we're going to be taking damage from our Ancient Tomb as well, which definitely speeds up the clock. So far, we've just seen Grixis, so if this is just a Grixis shell, then that would mean they're probably playing something like Dreadhorde Arcanist. All right, we're going to go down to 12. We do have at least something to do next turn. We can play the Suppression Field, but they already have a decent amount of mana, so I don't know how helpful that's going to be. Beating Delver on the draw, pretty hard to do. All right, so they forced that. That's kind of a good sign for us since we have the second one. But we're definitely going to start getting pretty low pretty quick. If our opponent has something like a Gurmag Angler, I don't know, like some sort of cantrip and fetch into Gurmag, we're definitely going to be in some trouble. So we're going to go down to 9 here. Yeah, that doesn't really do much for us, but let's just go ahead and play another Suppression Field. At least forces them to shuffle. They did not. Okay. Well, I guess they can just pay the Pluto Delta. Our opponent kind of got to 3 mana. All right, so they are playing 4-color Delver. That is good to know. Honestly, there's probably some information that wasn't worth telling me, because I may have changed a lot of what I was doing based on that stuff. But I did kind of imagine the deck that I'm playing entirely to beat that deck. So we're not going to win this game, but we're going to go into sideboarding, and we're going to try and beat it in game 2 and 3. All right, so what do we have against them? So I definitely think I want to bring in the rest in pieces. Sanctum Prelate could be good. Cataclysm can also be kind of good. Council's Judgment deals with True Name, as well as Ren and 6 and other things. What do we want to take out, though? I think Hero of Bladehold is pretty bad. I think Riders of Gavony is actually pretty good, because oftentimes we're going to start losing when they sort of kind of stick a board around, but I don't know, might be able to play this and sneak past them a little bit. All of our hate pieces are pretty good against them as well. So I definitely think we want to put in the rest in pieces at least. Maybe Palace Jailer is a little greedy because they have Delver. So they can get back the so they can get it back pretty quick, the Monarch. Sanctum Prelate. Sanctum Prelate seems pretty good. You just name it on 1. But they notably are going to be playing Abrupt Decay. So that is something to consider. In fact, because of that, I actually think that maybe throwing in a Cataclysm is worth it. Might be able to destroy everything our opponent is doing. Well, these definitely are cards. Let's just throw in the second one as well. And let's just try to do that. We're here to have fun, so let's stop our opponent from having any kind of fun. All right, well, this is a turn 1 Thalia Heretic Cathar, and we can throw 1 Thalia under the Chrome Box, and then on turn 2, we can Sanctum Prelate. So that all seems pretty good. So I'm going to keep. So what we're going to do is play Chrome Mox, throw Thalia underneath it. Let's go with Ancient Tomb first. Not really worried about Wasteland because I have the second one. Let's throw Thalia underneath that and throw out our second Thalia. See if this gets Force of Will. It does not. Awesome. So that means we're just going to skip our opponent's first turn because I'm pretty sure they don't have any basics. And if they only have a fetch land to leave with, that's great because that means that we might be able to skip 2 of their turns. All right. So we at least skip 1 turn. They do have days, so it's like not totally skipped, but all right. So rest in peace. Rest in peace, rest in peace. I think what I want to do here is go Sanctum Prelate on 1. Sanctum Prelate on 1 and then start beating down, and then I can do Rest in Peace next turn. So I'll just do that. Let's go ahead and attack first. And then let's run out the Sanctum Prelate. We have built-in Daze protection. Thank you, Ancient Tomb. And let's just choose 1. And we'll lose some mana, sure. Don't want to choose 2 because they might be able to Abrupt Decay something, but we do have a Rest in Peace in our hand. Also, other lands are going to be coming into play tapped, so another thing to consider. All right, another Chrome Mox. That doesn't really do too much for us. So let's just go ahead and beat down. And then let's drop Rest in Peace. And then let's pass the turn. So that's going to make their Goyfs little. It's going to make their Gurmag Anglers hard to play. And we just skip their turn. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. All right, let's just go ahead and go to combat. Oh, we won. Sweet. That's what happens when you hate out Delver. So, do we want to switch anything up if we are on the draw? Kind of don't think so. Yeah, I kind of don't think so. Let's run it back. See if we can steal another win. All right, so what do we got here? We don't really have any acceleration. We do have some hate pieces, but we don't have 3 mana, and they might be able to wasteland us. So I think I'm going to mulligan this. We have even less acceleration now, so that's not good. So I think we're going to have to go to 5. Okay. What do we got here? So we can throw back a suppression field and a cataclysm and then hope that they don't wasteland us. That seems pretty optimistic, but I don't think we can go to 4. So let's just throw back 1 and then 2 and then hope that they don't wasteland us. I guess also something to note as well, if we get some sort of acceleration here, mainly Chrome Mox. Hey, there's a Chrome Mox. Okay. So now what we can do is we can go Chrome Mox, put Suppression Field underneath that, play Cavern of Souls, and then Thalia. That'll make it so they can't daze this. And our Thalia will sort of mess them up in the future. I kind of like that, because then even if they wasteland the Cavern of Souls, we can go Ancient Tomb and then Trinisphere next turn. So I'm going to do that. So we're going to name Human. And then we're going to go ahead and cast Chrome Mox. Okay. I'm going to put Suppression Field behind. And then we're going to add white and cast Thalia that can't be countered and maybe mess up their plan a little bit. Hopefully they don't flip their Delver one time. They flip their Delver. Okay. All right, so they're going to go ahead and Wastelands the Cavern of Souls. But we might be able to get there with Trinisphere. Their Insectile Aberration is obviously a bigger clock than Thalia, but we do have things that we might be able to actually play. Okay, so do we want to go Trinisphere or Thalia Heretic Cathar? I think what we want to do, I think we want to lead on Trinisphere. This is hard. Okay, well, whatever we're doing, we're playing Ancient Tomb. So, if we lead on Trinisphere, they can Spell Pierce it. They can't Spell Pierce Thalia. Thalia gets our clock going a little bit quicker, but they might be able to play a creature into our board, which will be a problem. So it's basically, am I more worried of a creature hitting the board next turn, or my thing getting countered, like the first thing that I play? Oh, wait. This decision doesn't even matter. I can't cast Trinisphere because of Thalia. Sweet. Okay. Well, that makes my life a little bit easier, at least. Also, notably, they can't cast Spell Pierce as well right now. They can cast Daze, though. So let's just go ahead and try and cast Thalia. All right, they're going to Force of Will it. Paying a mana. Sure. All right, all right. Opponent down to 2 cards in hand, though. That might spell good news for us. We are on the Delver clock, though. And we did mulligan down to 5. So what would be great here is a land. That is a land. That is land. It also allows us to pay for Daze. But we're going to take 4 damage off of this. And they didn't cast anything last turn. But, like, we're not going to win. We're not going to win any other sort of race. I don't know. Trinisphere is a good card, but it is not that good of a card when you have to pay 66% of your, or sorry, 33% of your life for it. So if we do that, we go to 8, then we're on a 3-turn clock. And what are our outs? We need to get, yeah, what can we even get? Because we're sort of choked on white mana right now. I guess I'm still in the same boat, though, that I'm worried about a creature coming down. So I think I have to do this. All right. And then can't block the Delver anyway, so let's just go ahead and hit. So our opponent is essentially just off of spells. They can't play any spells. But what we need to do is like go runner, some sort of land, not get wastelanded, and then something like Palace Jailer. Okay, so Suppression Field doesn't do it because if we cast this, we die next turn. So I don't think that there's really anything that we can do actually here. I don't think there's any one card that's going to deal with the Delver now that we don't have the second white source. All right. Let's see. Well, there's that white source, but that's not going to do anything. So, GG, quick match 1. That's how prison decks go. All right, well, whatever. Let's go on to match number 2. All right, here we are in match number 2. Once again, we are on the draw in game 1. That stinks. And let's see what we got here. So we have a turn 2 hate engine that's just going to start plowing along. But Suppression Field is definitely worse on the draw. Thalia, depending on the deck, can... So basically, this hand is good against certain decks and pretty bad against other decks. I don't think it has enough hate stuff going on against, like, the field, though. So I'm actually going to go ahead and mulligan it. it was a little faster, I might reconsider. Okay, so what do we have here? Well, I think that we have something that we kind of need to keep. And we can go ahead and throw back an Ancient Tomb. Kind of in a similar boat. I mean, we have the suppression field, which I just said was bad on the draw, and we don't have the Thalias, but we do have like beaters and stuff. All right, so that looks like a Rug Delver to me if I ever done see one. So what we can do is draw a Plains and then fade Wasteland, or do both. Okay, so Trinisphere is a card. I think what I'm going to do is lead on Cavern because I have the two of them, naming human, and then hope that they don't Wasteland me. And if they don't, I think, I can't play the Crusader because I can tap for 3, but not for double white. All right, so they're going on a Ponder Trip. And they're going to try to figure out how exactly they can combat against the powerhouse that is mono white humans. So yeah, so once again, next turn we're going to be in a consider which hate piece we should sort of start off with. Okay, well that's actually really good because we can play that and it's uncounterable. So if we do that and they Wasteland us, then they either Wasteland the Ancient Tomb. They Wasteland the Ancient Tomb, and that's actually pretty bad, right? Yeah. I think I got to lead on the Thalia and just kind of hope, because the white mana for Suppression Field can't get gotten from these Cavern of Souls. So I'm just going to go Ancient Tomb and Thalia. And then maybe our opponent will misplay and not fetch as well. Or maybe they'll misplay and try to counter it. That would also be great. Okay, so our opponent, I think, misplayed. I guess it won't matter if they fetch at end of turn. Okay, so it shouldn't matter. Unless they have basics. Unless I'm wrong and they're not on Rug Delver. Okay, 4-color Delver? Or Grixis Delver? It's got to be 4-color, right? You're not going to play Fiery Islet and not play Wrenn and 6. Okay, okay. So we stuck them on 2 mana. So the fact that they're on 4-color kind of makes me want to... It kind of makes me want to jam the Mirran Crusader, because that's going to be able to deal with any creature they play. Like Delver's going to be teeny tiny. And pretty much anything else Mirran Crusader can get around. Plus, the creature will probably come into play tapped as well. But we could also just play Trinisphere. I guess that doesn't really do too much, though, because they already have 3 lands, right? So let's just go ahead and actually swing. Deal some damage. And then let's go Cavern of Souls on human again. And let's take a little bit of damage, but cast a uncounterable, hard to deal with Mirran Crusader. And maybe opponent will mess up and then try to counter it. It's kind of the main hope of this deck, right? That our opponent doesn't understand how things are going to get interacted with. It's the hope of every cheesy self-brew deck. All right, Oko. So this has protection from Oko. That's good. That does not, though. But it is still just going to become a 3/3. So that is a thing, at least. And they're going to deal with the Ancient Tomb. Kind of okay with that. Like, we kind of need a land for some other stuff anyway. And that is another land. Okay. So one thing to note, this has the same name. So I can't play another Thalia even though this got transformed. So I think what I'm going to do is actually okay, so we have some choices. We can go for Trinisphere, and then they can only play one thing next turn. We can play Suppression Field, and then they need to pay for their Oko. They need to pay 2 mana to just do something. I kind of like that. So I'm going to actually go ahead and play Caracas, and then just go ahead and play Suppression Field. And then we're going to do 7 damage if we hit our opponent in the face. Okay, so they Force of Will that. So does that change anything that we're going to do? I mean, 7 damage is a lot. That's a lot of damage. But can we deal with it next turn? So they can't turn this into an elk. They can make a food, but then they can't swap until the next turn. Yeah, I kind of think that what we want to do is just beat down. Beat down and hope. We're going to put our opponent to 5, and then Mirran Crusader has protection from stuff. We'll just go ahead and pass. So like they can play something and then swap control and then kill their Oko. Or they can make a food and then gain some life. But I don't really care about that. They can make a food and then play another Oko. No, they can't do that. They can't play another Oko and then swap. But they can play Gurmag Angler. But Mirran Crusader gets around Gurmag Angler. Okay, and Delver of Secrets. Okay. So, here's the plan. We fade a land. We peel a land. We play Riders of Gavany. We choose protection from wizards. And then we attack with Mirran Crusader. Okay. Can't do that. All right. So, in that case, I think what I'll just do is probably just play Trinisphere, right? Let's see. So the angler's going to attack this or block this if I attack, right? So I just need to swing with Crusader, and they're going to block with Delver. This can't get swapped next turn. This is now green, so it'll get protection from it. So yeah, so they need to block that. So let's attack them. It's lethal, and the only thing they can block with is the Delver. Okay. And then now what we're going to do is play Trinisphere. We're giving a little bit of information from this, but it prevents them from doing too many things next turn. Also prevents them from reasonably playing something and then countering something as well. So let's see, what can they swap for? So they can swap the food and Thalia, but they can't swap with the Crusader. And if they swap with Thalia, this is green now, so Crusader can get past it. So they need to kill Crusader with 1 card. And I think that 1 card needs to be Lightning Bolt, basically. So they need to like Lightning Bolt and then also swap the food with a Thalia. And then I'm not in great shape. Our opponent is thinking, though, and that's a good sign. Because my guess is that whatever math they're trying to do is not hard. They're just looking at our board state and being like, I cannot believe that I'm actually going to die from this. So I guess one thing they can do is save some life from their food. That is certainly a thing that can be done. But they can't do it twice. So once again, if we get a land... So they can go up to 6. Sorry, they can go up to 7 with the mana that they have. So if we get protection from zombies, okay. We're going to win with Gavany Riders, I think. Riders of Gavany. All right. And we're going to choose protection from zombies. And let's choose zombies. Okay. And then let's go ahead and attack. Do they have lightning bolt? Oh, right. Thalia is an elk now. Oh, that stinks. It's not a human. Damn, Oko. All right, so they're going to gain some life. They're going to go down to 2. So that was a misplay by me. But at least the Riders of Gavany now can block the Gurmag Angler. All right. Sorry, they go to 3 now. Yeah, they go to 3. Okay. Okay, so next turn. Well, I guess. Oh no, that was actually bad, huh? Because now they can swap the riders with the food. And that is not an elk anymore. So that stinks. Or not. They didn't see that line. That's definitely what I would have done. But okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. All right. So this is the exact same match that we just played, such as MTGO at the moment. So I kind of like these. The Cataclysm deal with planeswalkers and stuff too. And I was hearing I don't remember who was saying it, but it was during the Legacy Premier League talking about the matchups against 4-color Delvers or just Delver matchups in general are either very high resource or low resource. Basically, they can choke you out of your will to live pretty quickly, or it can be sort of a slugfest. And that last one was a little bit of a slugfest. And in those scenarios where they're kind of low on counterspells and stuff, Cataclysm, I think, can be good potentially. But also Sanctum Prelate can be good. Let's see. Council Judgment also deals with planeswalkers and stuff too. Let me think. All right, so the Heroes of Bladehold I think are pretty bad. And then I also think some of the Palace Jailers are probably. I kind of wanted 1 that last time. What if I just try the Rest in Pieces? All my other cards are pretty damn good against them. I definitely misplayed it, but this Riders of Gavany in a theoretical world definitely could have won us the game at some point. So that seems good enough for me. So let's go ahead and run it like that. What did I say before? That we're going to try and get some wins off of our opponent misplaying? I'm pretty sure that our opponent could have easily just swapped food with the Riders of Gavany, but such is life. Okay, so we don't have any acceleration here, and Recruiter of the Guard is really, really slow. We do have 1 suppression field, but no Cavern of Souls to make anything uncounterable, so I think that's a mulligan. Okay, so here we have a turn 1 Rest in Peace off of a Chrome Mox. I think this is a definite keep. I'm just trying to think about what I'm going to throw back. Because whatever I throw back is also going to not go under the Chrome Mox. So, like I'm basically going to be mulliganing 2 in order to do what I want to do on turn 1. So Tomic will deal with Wrenn and 6 on turn 2. Rest in Peace will deal with Tarmogoyfs. Thalia will deal with a lot of other stuff. What if we got rid of the planes? If we got rid of the planes and then start with Tomic, then they can't wasteland the Cavern of Souls. I kind of like that. It's so risky, but, whatever. We're up a game. Let's just try that. So what we're going to do on turn 1 is we're going to go Cavern of Souls on humans, Chrome Mox, put Riders of Gavany underneath, play Tomic, it's uncounterable, And they can't wasteland us. And then they also can't run in 6 on turn 2. All right, so they're going to ponder. It's fine by me. Okay. Mirror Crusader, huh? Well, I don't think that changes our plan at all. So we're going to name human. And then we're going to cast Chrome Mox. And we're going to put Riders of Gavany behind there. And then we're going to play Tomic, and it's uncounterable. Also can challenge a Delver as well, but I don't know if that really matters. So now they can't wasteland us. And what else can't they do? They also can't Ren in 6 right now. Or they can, but it doesn't do much. It's a sad Ren in 6 at the moment. All right, so if they go Tarmogoyf, what can we do? Tarmogoyf, we can go Rest in Peace. And then hope they don't counter that. Or we can go Chalice of the Void. Which one's better? Which one is better? I kind of think that Rest in Peace deals with... All right, so let's think about this. So the Tarmogoyf we technically already have an answer to in our hand with the Mirrored Crusader. But it is an immediate thing that's going on right now. And we don't have currently a land to play the Mirrored Crusader. So our options are Thalia. Our options are Thalia, Rest in Peace, or Chalice of the Void. Thalia is uncounterable, so that's definitely a plus. Chalice of the Void just turns off so much of their deck. But they may have sort of factored that in. Man, who thought the prison decks would be so hard? The uncountable thing is definitely appealing with 4 cards in hand. But Chalice of the Void... All right. I'm going to go Chalice of the Void. Rest in Peace I think we can play later and sort of surprise them. The Chalice of the Void, if it doesn't resolve, I don't think it's really the end of the world. It's pretty good if it resolves, but not crazy if it doesn't. So let's just go ahead and do that. All right, that's a good sign. So that means that this can't get bolted now. It can still get Abrupt Decayed, which they have mana for. But if they're doing that, that means that they're not Abrupt Decaying the Chalice of the Void. But if they went like Abrupt Decay Wasteland, that would be sad times. Then we'd have to draw land. It would be a whole thing. All right, Volcanic. That's not Wasteland. But they still might have some sort of removal for Tomic. And then they're going to attack. Interesting. Do I really care about 2 damage here? I kind of don't think I do. I think the Tomic being alive is more important. Especially, well, I guess I definitely shouldn't block, because if I block, then they're going to Ren in 6 and they're going to ping that. So I'm guessing they have a Ren in 6 in hand. So I am not going to block. Cindervines. Okay. That's something. So that deals with artifacts and enchantments, right? Oh, that's annoying. Okay, well, maybe if we draw a land, we're okay. That's not a land. And now Tarmogoyf is big. So, we're on a clock. And we need mana. I guess I'm going to attack with Tomic because I really don't want to block with it at this point, at this juncture. I think Probably the worst thing I could see right now is like a true name. Yeah, that's pretty bad too. Makes their goif bigger as well. All right, so if I draw a land, what am I doing? So I drew a land, so what am I doing? I kind of think I just have to go for Rest in Peace and then turn off this Tarmogoyf. I think that's just like a necessity at this point. I don't think I'm going to win by like chump blocking, and I mean, they still can't Wasteland me, but they could Lightning Bolt and then Wasteland. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Do you have a counterspell? Okay, brainstorming for something. And they're thinking. Nice. All right. Tarmogoyf is now Little Goyf. You ain't so scary now. All right, well, might as well attack with Tomic now. You got a bolt? Looks like a bolt to me. That is a bolt. You have a bolt. Okay. Well, they can start wastelanding us, which is unfortunate, but a lot of their threats are now turned off. Delver is not one of those threats, though. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and play Thalia. And then pass. And they're going to flip it. Every time they flip it. Yeah, this should just start hitting, huh? Okay. Ancient Tomb. So we're sort of in the same spot that we were last game. Where we take 2, we go down to 6. That's 2 turns. That is not an ideal spot to be in. I don't know. Yeah, I really don't think we can win that way. But I guess, okay, I need to get Palace Jailer, right? So if I get Palace Jailer, I go down to 3, but then Lightning Bolt kills me too. So like, I really can't play this right now. If I get Palace Jailer, I play it. They attack me for 3, I go down to 5, and then I go down to 3, and then Lightning Bolt kills me anyway. So I'm dead to Lightning Bolt no matter what I do. Okay. But is there anything else? They have so many resources. None of my other things really do much. So I think really the only thing that we're even close to trying to have happen is getting a Palace Jailer. And I'm not even going to play it because of Wasteland. I guess I'm dead to Wasteland no matter what, right? Because I don't think I have any other outs other than Palace Jailer. No blocks. And even that is not really an out. That's just like a temporary fix. Yeah. I don't think that does it. All right. We lose. Okie dokie. What else do we want to put in? They've got a lot of threats. Council Judgment seems pretty good. I haven't seen True Name yet, but I think it's kind of got to be there. So what can we take out? The Tomic was kind of MVP, I think. I think that they probably had some Wastelands that they got rid of. Riders of Gavany also, like, it seems so stupid to keep this card in, but I'm convinced that this is going to become relevant at some point. All my hate pieces I also really like. I guess Sanctum Prelate is sort of hard because I think that they're probably going to hedge against Chalice of the Void a decent amount. And I don't really want to name 2 on this. And they really only have 1 and 2 mana non-creature things, right? I don't want to name 2 because then it turns off all of my, or a lot of my hate stuff. So let me try taking out Sanctum Prelate. And then I'll just take out a Recruiter of the Guard as well. Yeah, and we'll just try it like that. And I'll be on the play. Oh boy. So we have turn 1 Trinisphere. And even if we get Wastelanded, we have turn 2 Chalice of the Void. So what do I want to do? The Mirror Crusader is my only threat. So I kind of think that I want to lead on Chalice of the Void and not play the Chrome Mox. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lead on Chalice of the Void, and I'm going to keep this. I don't want to put my only threat under the Chrome Mox and then just kind of like totally hate them out of the game, but then they can't really do anything. Plus, if they don't Wasteland, if they like have days up or something, next turn we can play around it with Trinisphere by going Ancient Tomb, have 1 mana floating. All right, so our opponent keeps as well, or they go down to 6. All right, so let's just go ahead and go Ancient Tomb, Chalice. Beat that. All right, so they're going to force that. It's kind of okay with me. If they go Delver, it's annoying. And they always go Delver. Delver. Okay. Okay. So what I can do now is I can go Mirror Crusader. Let's see. So I can either Trinisphere. I can Trinisphere off of Ancient Tomb so that they can't play that. But that turns off my Chrome Mox as well. It's kind of awkward. Okay, at this point then, I kind of think that I want to go Chrome Mox, put Mirror Crusader behind it. Ancient Tomb. Not Ancient Tomb. Let me think about this. Because I want to use the Recruiter of the Guard to get a Palace Jailer. Because I think that that's something that I can use to deal with that. I don't want them to wasteland the Cavern of Souls, though, because having it uncounterable seems pretty good. But I also don't want to take too much damage off of casting this if all things go south. So... Okay. I think I'm going to go Ancient Tomb. In my world, I deal with the Delver, so my life doesn't matter quite as much. Let's go Chrome Mox. And I need to cast this first because Trinisphere will turn it off. And let's put Mirror Crusader behind. And then let's cast Trinisphere. And that resolves. Okay. Okay, so hopefully our opponent is just shut off from doing stuff. Hopefully Delver doesn't flip. And then hopefully we can get our Palace Jailer. What a world that would be. And they swing for 1. Okay. So I'm trying to think about if I should lead with Cavern of Souls next turn for the Recruiter of the Guard. I feel like I kind of have to, right? Because I don't want that to get countered. Okay, Rest in Peace is a card. It's like an extra hate piece, but I think I still want to go Human, and then let's go Recruiter, take 2. And we're going to want to go ahead and fetch up a Palace Jailer. Go ahead and grab that. And then we can go ahead and pass it back because we cannot pay to play the Palace Jailer this turn. We could technically pay to play the Rest in Peace, but I don't think there's really a need to right now, and it would just make us take an extra 2 damage. And I am sort of being a little bit frivolous with that with the Ancient Tombs. Luckily, the Delver has not flipped. So not only have we gotten the 1 time, we've gotten 2 time. Magic gods are smiling on us. Our opponent is trying to figure out what the hell to do. Okay, Wasteland. And they Wasteland Cavern. So we need a white source so that we can play the Jailer. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Okay, so 2 damage puts us into a denomination of 2. But if they go Ren in 6, I guess we'll know about it, right? Because Ren in 6 is going to cost 3. Ren in 6 is going to cost 3. So that means that they can't Ren in 6 and get back Wasteland. So I think I can still hold off on the Rest in Peace and just swing with Recruiter. And they'll take a damage. I attacked there because I just kind of assumed that this is going to flip. Oh, I'm wrong. So I took 1 damage without needing to. Could have held back. Okay. So it tells me that they probably have some lands in hands because they're going to need some lands to do anything here. And they probably have a counterspell for my Jailer as well. Okay, they have Wasteland. And then Goyf, sure. So I think now I'll deploy Rest in Peace if I don't draw a land here. Oh, but I do draw land. That makes it difficult. That makes it difficult. Well, I think I kind of need to just make them have it because I can play around Daze. Oh, they can't even cast Daze. They can't cast any counterspells. Okay. All right, so I'm going to Jailer the Delver. I'll block the Tarmogoyf, and then I'll Rest in Peace next turn. Yeah. And I'll just get my card advantage engine online. And I'll go ahead and steal the Delver because once that thing flips, I just can't deal with it. Yeah, and I'll just go ahead and pass turn. I'll block the Goyf with the Recruiter. I'll draw a card. Even if they Ren in 6, I'll just block it with the Palace Jailer. Sure. Go ahead and block. Makes Goyf bigger, but hopefully not for long. Okay. So the good news with that draw is that now I can go Rest in Peace without taking damage. So I'm going to do that. And I think opponent might be thinking about if they want to counter this or not. I think that the tapping the 3 white sources was more important. I have the second Rest in Peace, right? So technically if they counter this one, I could play a second one. But I think the damage was more important. If need be, next turn I could just block the Goyf with the Palace Jailer. They still don't get their Delver back. And then I just play another one next turn. Okay, so now I'm going to start hitting my opponent in the face. Because even though they might be able to deal with the Palace Jailer, their Goyf is a 0/1. And yes, I would like to draw a card. Thank you. And they're going to Brainstorm. I do have a Thalia as another threat, but I have two Thalias as other threats. But they don't really do anything. They're just 2/1 first strikes. I really doubt they have a... Oh, well, I guess it makes Oko slightly more expensive, right? Are they going to play that here? So they shuffled. Oko? Oko. Noko. Damn. I didn't think about that. So now it's going to become an elk, and then they're going to get the monarch. That stinks. All right, all right. So they basically got to draw an extra card off of that, and I'm sort of forced to attack next turn. Oh, and they get Delver back as well. I didn't think about Oko. Damn. That's a card. That is a card. Okay. So I think I kind of want to bait them. I think I want to bait them here. How much mana do I have? Enough to that if I start tapping it like crazy, I die to a bolt, right? All right. I want them to trade the Delver, and I want to get the Monarch back. So I'm just going to do that first. Opponent considering if it's worth it to block. No blocks. I am the Monarch. Okay. So now, I think what I want to do is I want to lead. I'm going to go Thalia. And I think I want to go just Thalia. I don't want to take any more damage from my Ancient Tombs. So I'm going to go Thalia. And if they turn it into an elk, so be it. But I will play a Thalia. Okay. And then I'll draw a card. Mirror Crusader's pretty good. We just need to deal with this Delver. And, like, pronto. If they play any creature here, yeah. Damn. They got us. All right. Well, we're 0-2, but I feel like that they were actually respectable matches so far. So let's see if we can finish it out with an X2. All right. Good match. So I actually just realized that the last two matches were not even just against the same deck. They were against the same opponent as well. So, you know, be that as it may. This is a mulligan. So far we are 0-2, but I will say with my janky pile of white cards that includes Riders of Gavany, they didn't really feel like terrible losses. And this seems like actually a pretty good hand as well. Yeah, this seems like a pretty good hand as well. I'm actually going to keep this, and I'll throw back... What do I want to throw back? I'll throw back a Recruiter of the Guard. So yeah, you know, we lost, but they were, you know, we did win a game at least for each of them. And our opponent is playing Storm. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and try and lock them out with Suppression Field. That is as Storm of an open as I've ever seen. The Preordain, the Misty. Come on. So what we're going to do is we're going to go Plains. And then we're going to go Chrome Mox. And we're going to put Atomic behind. Let's put behind Atomic. And then we're going to Suppression Fields, and then hope that they have a grip full of fetch lands. All right. And it resolves because Storm does not play counterspells. So I think our matchup against Storm is pretty good. It's pretty hard to hate against Storm. Luckily, we have just so many hate pieces, so I'm sure one of them will do the trick. Atomic, notably, does not really do anything. They're probably going to take the hero of Bladehold. Yeah. That at least is a clock. All right, good. They have a polluted delta. That is a gimped land. Cavern of Souls. Cavern of Souls. Okay. I'm trying to think of a reason why I wouldn't want to play that. So far, this is telling me Storm. I'm trying to think of something that they might else. Okay, so they could be playing Blue-Black Delver. I guess it doesn't matter, right? Because I'm going to go ahead and... All right, this is what I'm going to do. If they're playing Blue-Black Delver, they won't be able to deal with this. Because I can go ahead and play the Tomic uncounterable, and they cannot wasteland me. So deal with that. Aha, yes, you cannot do that. They tried to crack their delta, and they cannot crack their delta because it costs 2 more to crack their delta. All right. Chrome Mox is not what we wanted to see, but might as well start chipping away. And I'll play Plains. Ponder, sure. Looks like they're still looking for lands. And this is going to be kind of tricky for them because I think that they play like 9 or 10 fetch lands. So they need to look for non-fetch lands. It looks like they still haven't found any, which is a good sign for us. Ooh, that's spicy. That's a good card. All right, so let's just go ahead and hit first. And then let's just ruin our opponent's day. And pass turn. Is that going to be enough to warrant a concession? It is. Nice. Okay. So against Storm, we got a lot of stuff. I kind of want to take out things that are bad. So I kind of think that some of the Palace Jailers are bad. The Riders of Gavany are bad. Let's just leave that in for now. It's probably going to come out, but it feels pretty bad. The Recruiters of the Guard are kind of slow. Tomic is also pretty bad as well. And what can we put in? So we can put in Rest in Peace. If they're on the Epic Storm, we didn't really see one or the other, but if they're on the Epic Storm, that doesn't really do much. I guess we saw, let me think about it. Does the Epic Storm play Misty Rainforest? I don't think so, right? They're just straight Grixis. I could be wrong about that. It's been a while since I played that deck. Aethersworn Canonist is good. And then we have Ley Lines as well. Ley Lines are pretty good as well because it makes them need to have goblins. In fact, let's see. They're probably going to be playing goblins against us. They're probably going to empty the warrants. Sanctum Prelate is also pretty good as well. Recruiter also helps us fetch up some hate pieces. Palace Jailer is like a little slow. And then we kind of want to close out the game, but like maybe we take out a Mirror Crusader. I don't know. I don't really know what's good, but it seems fun. That seems like a lot of cards that Storm does not want to deal with. Suppression Fields turns out their fetch lands. Thalia deals with their stormy things. Recruit of the Guard finds Thalia. This Thalia deals with their lands coming into play. That deals with basically whatever the hell I wanted to. Trinisphere just makes them sad. Bladehold. Bladehold. Probably want to put in a Mirror Crusader for Heroes. No, I'm going to take this out. Here's a Bladehold. If it resolves, we'll just win the game in like 2 turns. What about Cataclysm? Make them sack their lands? I guess that really gimps us, though, too, doesn't it? Cataclysm actually deals with goblins. That's something to consider. So I'll just do this. Opponent is on the play this time. Okay. So we don't really have enough mana, so we cannot keep this. Let's go ahead and mulligan this. Ooh. This has mana and has some hate pieces. I definitely think this is good enough to keep. And I think I'll throw back the Mirren Crusader. I think that the Thalia will get it done. Thalia plus all of this other hate, I think, is just good enough. Or do we throw back a land? Because we don't really care about stuff getting countered, right? So we go Cavern of Souls, and then we Chrome Mox, putting the Mirren Crusader behind it because we need that. We'll Ancient Tomb and Chalice, and then we can also Suppression Field. That like all seems really good. Yeah, okay. So I'm actually going to put a land behind. Because we can draw more lands. But we're less likely to get other stuff. Okay. And this also plays a little bit better with Thoughtseize as well. Which I totally meant to do. So they can't take literally everything. So if they take Suppression Field, we just go Chalice. If they take Chrome Mox, we just go Chalice. Okay, so they're sad of... They don't want to have... That's okay. Okay. That was a good draw, because now we can just put that behind Chrome Mox. So we're going to go Ancient Tomb, and we're going to go Chrome Mox. We're going to put Thalia behind. And I kind of want to lead on Thalia, because any land they put in, barring like the one swamp and the one island, they're going to have to do something with black mana. And the only thing that Storm can really do with black mana is do more discard stuff. And if they discard stuff, they kind of have to take Suppression Field. So, it's actually tricky. I guess this starts the clock quicker, which is, I'm going to err on the side of getting the game done faster. Thalia doesn't hate necessarily as efficiently as Suppression Field can. Okay, all right. I think we made the right choice. If that was a fetch land, I would have been a little bit more sad. All right, so now we can go Plains and then Thalia. And then do we want to play Crusader or Suppression Field now? So next turn, I can start dealing 7. So I can put them on a potential 2-turn clock if they have a fetch land. I kind of like that. So we're going to do that. Because we can deal 7 next turn. And their fetch lands are turned off by this anyway. Like effectively turned off because they come into play tapped as well. So yeah, I think the Thalia was better to lead with. All right, just a Ponder and no lands. So that means they probably have a ton of mana. So we're just going to go ahead and swing. And the good news about Thalia as well is that if they make a bunch of goblins, they come into play tapped. So they can't just win by doing that. Although we have literally no reach at all. So if they play a bunch of goblins and we get them down to 1, oh wow, sweet. We hated our opponent out of the match. Take that, Storm. Turns out if you just put a deck together that just has everything that Storm hates, that sometimes you can win some matches. Okie dokie. We are on the play. This is match number 4. And what do we got here? Turn 1, Suppression Field. Turn 2, either Trinisphere or Thalia. So we're definitely keeping this. And I think I'll just put Hero Blade Hold behind the Chrome Mox. Yeah, I'll keep this. Okie dokie. So it's not a Chalice, but it is pretty good. We're gonna lead with the Plains as well to play around Wastelands. Put the hero behind, and then run out Suppression Field. Take that. And then hopefully skip our opponent's next turn. In which case this was a time walk. Although I guess if they... Okay. So, Horizon Canopy Once Upon a Time. Selesnya Depths? Or some... I'm guessing not Maverick, because I played Maverick, and that deck just fell off the face of the earth as soon as people realized that Ren and 6 and other things were really, really good. Okay, so we've got Green-White Depths. So that's sort of a problem. So what can we do about that? So we can go Cavern of Souls and then Thalia. And then the next turn we can go Mirren Crusader. I think that's better than Trinisphere because they're going to be playing land-based stuff. And I kind of want all that nonsense to come into play tapped. So let's do that. Let's do that, and then let's go ahead and play Thalia. And this will make it so that if they have a Wasteland in their hand for the Cavern of Souls, it'll come into play tapped. So I doubt that they're going to be able to like remove this and then also do a bunch of stuff. And then next turn we can start hitting them, beating down with the Mirren Crusader, etc. They also, that's really good sign for us because that fetch lands. Well, I guess they have basics, right? They're not like the Delver decks. Okay. This also makes this ability cost 4 as well. So that's kind of incredible. We also have Recruiter of the Guard for Palace Jailer for whenever things start to get a little hairy, which is great. But I think for now, I'm just going to go ahead and attack and then play Mirren Crusader. No blocks. Let's go ahead and play Crusader. And then pass turn. So this is going to end up being some serious damage pretty soon. I also don't know if they've realized that they can't use this ability basically yet. And I'm definitely happy I led on the Thalia. This is really turning off their land-based game plan by like a lot. Another Thalia. That's not the best of draws. So I kind of think I just want to go with Trinisphere here. Because they're not anywhere close to doing the Depths combo. Because that's going to come into play tapped. Their abilities are going to cost 2 more mana. It's like a whole thing. So I think I just want to lead with attacking first. Yeah, the combination of this and this is going to make all their abilities just really unhappy. Sometimes I just even forget, like, why I put this card in my deck. And I'm like, well, they can do all these things. And I'm like, oh, wait, no, they can't do any of that stuff. Yeah. See? Can't do any of that. Sorry, my friend. And maybe they put together that they can't do it with the Elvish Reclaimer. People don't play against Suppression Field enough, so they don't really know how to play against it. They kind of have their brain math not working correctly. All right, so if we do Trinisphere, it's going to just make it so they can't play any spells next turn. So that seems pretty good. I'll do that. All right, so they're going to go ahead and crop rotation. Sure. And they can do it for Dark Depths, but they're not going to have enough mana to do the Thespian stage combo with Dark Depths. Okay. And then we'll pass the turn. So next turn they'll take at least 4 because I don't think they have any way to block this. If they muster up somehow enough mana, which they'll need Elvish Spirit Guides and Mox Diamonds and a bunch of stuff. And they can't even do Mox Diamonds anymore because of the Trinisphere. But even if they do, next turn what we're going to do is we're going to Recruiter the Guard for Palace Jailer. And then even if this big nasty thing comes out to block something, we'll just go ahead and remove it. Because I really think it's going to have to block something. Also, it comes into play tapped as well. Yeah, they can't do anything about that. All right. All right, cool. So, how can we deal with this nonsense? I don't really know if we have that much that really deals with their combo stuff, right? Like, Suppression Field seems like the best card against them. Their entire deck has just activated abilities. Thalia seems really good as well, so does Tomic. So I don't really know if there's anything else I really want to bring in. I guess, like, Riders of Gavany seems a little weak. And maybe, like, I can put in a Cataclysm. I mean, one of them gives me protection against stuff. Containment Priest doesn't work on Merit Lage. Rest in Peace makes their... what? Their Knight of the Reliquary is kind of small, but, like, they just kind of, like, combo kill, I think, against this deck, and that's it. Yeah. I don't know. Let's try that. Get to play the Cataclysm. All right, so we're on the draw. What do we got here? We have Chalice and no white mana. I don't think I can keep this, right? Like, they play Wastelands, don't they? So I just go Ancient Tomb Chalice, they Wasteland me, and then I'm just toast. Plus, they're going to lead on a 1-drop as well, so they're going to, like, play an Elvish Reclaimer. Yeah, I can't keep that. This one I can't keep because I have the white mana. Yeah, I'll definitely keep this. We have the Suppression Field, which, as we found out last game, is quite good. And we have a easy throwback because we don't need to keep both these things, so we can just do that. Thalia might be relevant against them as well. Elvish Reclaimer, sure. All right, so let's just go ahead and turn off their crop rotations and future Reclaimers. Anything Cavern? Nope, Cavern does not change anything. Okay, doop doop. Done. Goodbye, crop rotation. And then next turn, we're going to go ahead and go Suppression Field if they don't Wasteland us. And that's going to make their Reclaimer worse. We also have Caracas to deal with Merit Lage whenever that ends up happening. But one thing to note about that is if they get a Merit Lage out and we have a Suppression Field, that makes Caracas' second ability cost more. So something to note. Crinosphere. Yeah, well, I think I still just want to do suppression field here. Let's see if they don't think about it. And nice. Okay. So the Reclaimer is now offline. Let's hope they make a mistake and then they try to do it at the end of turn, because it'll prove that they were trying to do something. And by the fact that they're waiting, I kind of think that's the case. So what do I want to do next turn? Ooh, brutal. That's good. Didn't think about the Force of Vigor. But we do have the Caracas. So even if they go for depth stuff, we do have a thing that just kind of, you know, deals with that. So that's something good to know, that they have Force of Vigor. If I was thinking about this matchup more, I would have totally thought about that. But okay. Ancient Tomb. So I think what I want to do here is Cavern of Souls and then Palace Jailer. On what? I think I need to do it on the Giver of Runes. I think that's actually going to be a little bit more annoying because Giver of Runes can give protection from colorless, which will turn off Caracas. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go Palace Jailer. And I'm going to get rid of the Giver of Runes. And then we'll draw a card for our troubles. Will be kind of a problem if they have Wasteland. And they can fetch the Wasteland off of the Reclaimer, but yeah. Path Exile, sure. Yes, I will use the ability. I will go to Plains. So they'll be able to get the Monarch next turn. Which is of note, to be sure. Yeah, you're going to want to attack. I guess that turns off their Reclaimer for the turn. So that's at least a plus. But then they will be drawing cards, which is bad for us. All right, they get that back too. All right, so they got the stage. They might have us here. Because we have... Okay, so they can go Thespian Stage for the Dark Depths on their turn. They can get Merit Lage, and they can give it protection from colorless during their turn. And I don't think that we actually have a way to beat that. So I'm just going to go ahead and like see if they see the line. But I'm guessing they do. Now, the biggest mistake my opponent could do is do this now, because I can Caracas it now. Okay, so the crop rotation for wasteland, I guess. Yeah, okay. And then what are they going to wasteland? And they'll wasteland Caracas. Okay, sure. Sure, okay, so they got it. Okay, so green, white depths. I already kind of knew that that was what I was playing against. Does that change anything that I would want to do? I don't think so. I don't think that any of these cards are really that great. I don't think anything here is really that great against them. I'll just run it back. See if I can drop some hate pieces and not get Force of Vigored. So that's going to make me sort of favor Trinisphere more. The fact that they have Force of Vigor. Because I think that this match is going to get determined in the first few turns. Okay. Well, that's pretty darn good. Because we can go Trinisphere, and then we can go Tomic. And then we can just follow it up with some other stuff. So yeah, I'm going to keep that. So it's just saying that this card seems pretty good against them because of the Force of Vigor. And then Tomic also seems pretty good against all of their land strategies. And then Recruiter of the Guard can go ahead and fetch up Thalia, but that's like a million turns away. We're going to take some damage off of the Ancient Tomb, but as long as that is less than or more than 0 and less than 20, that's not going to really make any difference. So we'll just have a lackadaisical turn 1. And they're going to go basic forest into Elvish Reclaimer. 100%. Basic plains, oh, totally different. Giver of Runes, sure. Another Mirror Crusader. Well, I don't think we're going to deviate at all, so let's just go ahead and drop the sphere. Let's hope that that messes up our opponent's plans a little bit. Wasteland. Well, we have Tomic at least. So that'll stop future Wastelands. And honestly, we were more concerned about the double white, which we didn't get Wastelanded. So I think that's okay. Ooh, Cataclysm might end up being really, really good. Oh, right. I got to pay 3, huh? That is pretty annoying then. I forgot that Trinisphere was a card that I played. Yeah. All right, so we need a land. When I get choked out by my own Trinisphere, by my own prison. Hopefully our opponent is just absolutely toasted on mana. They were pretty aggressive with that Wasteland. I mean, against Ancient Tomb, it makes sense, but if they don't have any other lands in hand, that seems pretty bad for their deck. And we're like a billion years away from this Cataclysm, but if we manage to land something like Mirror Crusader and then Cataclysm, that'll be pretty good. But first what we got to do is draw a land right now. Nice. We're really good at Magic. Okay, so I think I got to go with Tomic. Another Wasteland, like we're not going to get that lucky over and over again. So I'm just going to go for Tomic. And then just shut off their Wastelands. Ah. That is interaction, huh? Punt. Punt, punt, punt. That might end up costing us the game, to be honest. If they go Wasteland here, we're like pretty much toast. But if not, what we'll do is we'll just pretend like that turn didn't happen. Pretend like we just took an extra damage off of some other source. So they have 3 lands now, which means they can play spells. Another Giver of Runes. So that means they get protection from each other. Okay. Well, remember what I said about the whole Mirror and Crusader into Cataclysm thing? We're going to try and live that dream. Because if we do that, we get to make our opponent sacrifice a ton of lands and still have Trinisphere in play. I don't think that one land... Let's see what this is. Green Sun Zenith, sure. 4 Knight, yes. Okay, okay. So what do I want to do here? The Crusader has protection from the Knight at the moment. But the Giver of Rune is going to give it protection anyway. So I won't be able to block. I'm trying to think if there's any... They give it protection from white. I was trying to think if there was any sort of like weirdness that I could do where they get protection from white and then the second one can't do it because it has protection from white. But I don't think so. So I'm going to go ahead and just get Recruiter of the Guard, and then I'm going to grab a Palace Jailer to deal with that. And by deal with it, I mean deal with it eventually. And then the secondary question is, I was just thinking, do I want to get Thalia? But I don't, because they have Caracas in play, and that's just going to make me sad. So... just going to get a Palace Jailer. Do I want to attack here? Do I want to attack here? Next turn, they're likely going to try and go for the combo in some way. So they'll sacrifice a Plains, and then if they have crop rotation, then they can do stuff. But if next turn I live and I Cataclysm, if I get Ancient Tomb next turn, I can Cataclysm and then keep up Caracas. In any of those scenarios, do I want to not attack here? Do I care about taking 5 damage? I don't think so. I think it's better to attack here. I guess that was kind of wasteful. They can just do the Giver of Runes to each other. So that was a punt. Yep. My thing doesn't die, but then they took the damage. That's something. Okay, well, whatever. I punted and then my opponent punted, so we're even. So what I really want to see next turn is Ancient Tomb. Ancient Tomb would be great. Any land would also be great. Because at this point, I think I can beat a single Knight of the Reliquary. I guess one thing to keep in mind, though, is that if we Cataclysm, their Knight is going to get big. Their Knight is going to become an 8/8. So maybe I can't race it. But I can at least block it with the Mirror and Crusader. fighting for my life here. Currently 1 and 2. Okay, so looks like they're going to try to start beating down, which means my attack was correct. Sure, sure. And what else? What else you got, opponent? Nothing, huh? Okay. So that tells me that they probably have like a path exile. Okay, so we drew a land. We drew a land. They can't combo next turn, though. So if we just go like... let me think about this. Okay, so I can't just go Palace Jailer. I can't just go Palace Jailer because they have the Giver of Runes out. If I go Cataclysm, I'm going to have a Crusader, and they will have a Knight of the Reliquary, which will be an 8/8. And I'll have a Caracas out. I can then block the Knight of the Reliquary, but if they have Path to Exile, then they're going to exile my thing. I can't play Tomic because they have Caracas. I think what I need to do here is... attack and then play another Crusader. Yeah, I think that's what I need to do. Because I do that, and then if they attack with the Knight of the Reliquary, then I go down to 5. Potentially even less than that, depending on how many lands they can get into their graveyard. Yeah, Cataclysm isn't going to do it, I don't think. Oh, man, hold on. Sorry, this is hard. So I attack with the Mirror Crusader. I'm doing that anyway, right? No matter what I do, I'm doing that. So I'll just start there. If I go Cataclysm, though, and they don't have a removal spell, which they started tapping their land, so I'm like kind of suspect of that. If they do it now, that's great for me. I mean, it's not great, but it gives me more information at least. Crop rotation. Okay. So I'm going to Cataclysm now. Like 100%. Wasteland. Now I can't Cataclysm. Cool. All right. Well, that answers that for me. So they're going to take 4. And then I'm going to take a bunch. All right. So basically, I got my decision made for me. So now I'm going to go Plains. And I'm going to play another Crusader. And we'll just let that be that. So I thought a lot about a bunch of things, but didn't really end up mattering. So that's going to get pro green. Pro white. What am I talking about? And then it's going to swing. So now I think that if I draw land, I just have to Cataclysm, right? So I'm going to take a bunch from this. Anything else? Okay, yeah, that's fine. Land. That's not a land. I think we might be dead. I think we might be sad and dead. I guess. Yeah, I don't think that there's anything we can do here, right? We can't. The only two cards we can play right now are Recruiter, and they're just going to give protection. Yeah, so that's it. GG. 1-3. Really sad. All right. Well, see you guys in the last match. All right. We are currently 1-3, trying to break pseudo even with 2-3. Let's see if we can do it. We're not going to do it with this hand. We'll throw that one back. We're really not going to do it with this hand either, are we? This is like the worst of death and taxes hands. On the play, we drop a Thalia. We get countered. We play a Mirren Crusader. Is it better than going to 5? Like, it might be. 5 can get really bad for us. Like, a keepable 5 hand needs to have, like, a hate piece and some acceleration, I think. Otherwise, it's going to look like this. So I kind of think that I got to keep this and just throw back a Thalia and be done with it. And then I guess, like, one of the plus sides of this is that if we lose super quick, our opponent is literally just going to think that we're on Death and Taxes. They're not going to think prison. Although I guess Death and Taxes is a prison deck, but different type of prison, right? Delver, okay. And they had a Flooded Strand, so that tells me this is probably like, well, I guess it can be Rug or just, yeah, I guess it's got to be Rug, right? Because it's just the blue fetch. Okay, Chalice. Chalice. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and... which one do we want to do? We have 1 Thalia on the bottom. I'm just going to lead with Chalice. Bait out a counter of some kind. Days, sure. I'll not pay for days. And, of course, they flip their Delver. And they have another days. We do have the Jailer in hand. We don't have enough mana for it right now. And notably, they have days in hand. But next turn, we will be okay. So let's just go Thalia here. And maybe they will... Spell Snare. Okay. All right, so they still have days in hand. I think next turn we still got to go for the Palace Jailer, though. Ponder, sure. Can't do much against that. Delta. 5 cards in hand. Getting beat with a Delver. This is what Legacy is now, isn't it? Well, I guess it's always been what Legacy is, but quite a lot of that now. Okay, I think we just go Tomb, Jailer, play around days. If they have Force, that's not good. Yeah, that's not great for us. So that means we're pretty much out of resources now. Ooh, Goyf is... Well, I guess Goyf is neutral to us, right? Because we have protection from it. But man, Rug Delver. Just really, really good. Yeah. Hmm. Well, I think we kind of just need to do this. The fact that we play the Chalice, I guess, makes our opponent think that we could be on something else. All right, so they're going to get a creature, so that's lethal. No, let's see, they already have a creature. So technically we're not dead, but like our Ancient Tomb is going to get turned off, so I've seen enough. I've seen enough of that. All right. What were we doing before? We were definitely bringing in the rest in pieces. Where did those go? The rest in pieces. Oh. So I'm still learning how to sideboard with this disaster of a deck of mine. Let's take out Hero Blade Hold. I think we definitely want the Palace Jailers. This is our only way to deal with Delver, right? We have not even cast Hero Blade Hold yet. And like, those just seem like bad cards. Rest in Peace is an actual card. And all these other cards seem to be actual cards against my opponent. So, and they're like almost certainly just playing Rug. They're not playing 4-color because they had the Flooded Strand. So is there anything else that we might want to do? I'll just lead like this. And I will play first. 1 mana, huh? Can't keep that. I can't keep that. That's a turn 1 Trinisphere. So turn 1 Trinisphere and... Well, I kind of don't want it to be turn 1 Trinisphere, right? Because I want it to... Oh, that's annoying. Like, I like definitely have to keep this hand, but I can go Trinisphere and no Rest in Peace. And then if it gets Force of Willed, I'm just toast. Because I have no other threats backing it up. Or I can go safe and go like Plains, and the next turn go Rest in Peace, and the turn after that go Ancient Tomb. But if they like Delver and stuff, that's just like such bad news. So what do I lose? I lose to Force of Will, basically. That's basically where we're at right now. I'm going to lose the Force of Will if I keep and then jam Trinisphere. But if I don't, I get like 3 draw steps to do some other stuff. Even if they wasteland me. Like, what else can we draw? Realistically. Can we go down to 5? The Rest in Peace is really good. Rest in Peace is really good. I'm going to make them have it. Let's throw back a... What do you need, Caracas? I am going to make them have it. Let's go Tomb. Let's go Chrome Mox. Let's get rid of Rest in Peace. And transfer. And it resolves. I'm such a good Magic player. Damn. All right. Now what we really want to get is Thalia Heretic Cathar. That was pretty good too. I will accept that. That one is also pretty good. Notably makes Oko 4 mana, even with Transfer out. It still does die to Ren in 6. But I guess there's not really much I can do about that. Yep. Oh no, not like this. Not Ren and 6. It's like gotta be Ren and 6, right? Oh, Delver. Sure. It's a very expensive Delver. Suppression field. I like that. All right, so let's go ahead and swing with Thalia. Unfortunately, they just played their fetches. But if they have more fetches in hands or planeswalkers and stuff, and they don't flip the Delver, that's good news for us. True name. That is annoying. And we don't even have Council's Judgment for that, huh? And I took out the Gavany stuff, so that just kind of beats us. Womp womp. Okay. Caracas. Go. There's not really much we can do against that. They can just literally wait and then flip their Delver and then start hitting us. Kind of like this. Swinging with True Name, sure. We will take 6. And they notably have Grudge up. But I guess I can get a little weird and, I mean, not doing anything, right? Like, I'm not going to win from this situation. I think we just got totally crushed by the deck that I wanted to beat with this deck. I built this deck just to beat this deck. And sure, it's not great, but come on. It's got a fun name. It's got humans. Who doesn't like humans? I'm just gonna chalice for 1. And that's lethal. Okay. So we got crushed that last match. All right, guys. So we played through a full league. We went 1-4. That's pretty sad. However, I will say that except for that last match, we lost games and matches that were like totally winnable. I feel like there is like a little bit to this deck. There like could be a bit of hope for this dumb little brew that is kind of like Soldier Stompy, but not really. But is. Like, it could thrive, you know? Who knows? There's some better player that wants to start messing around with this. Maybe Leyline of Sanctity is just a bad card in Legacy. Could be a bunch of stuff. Who knows? Also could just be the fact that we're entirely relying upon our Chroma Mox's Suppression Fields, Trinispheres, and Chalice of the Void to do a bunch of stuff. I mean, those are all good cards. But I mean, like, Thalia Heretic Cathar, that stole a game, right? I think, at some point. Riders of Gavany. I mean, that is a Magic card. Tomek is actually, I think, a legitimately good card. I think this card is... I've been testing this card in 4-color loam a little bit, and I think this card is good. But yeah, 1-4, that's, it's disappointing, but just kind of want to have fun on this glorious Friday that I'm recording this on. And yeah, we got rugged. We got rugged and 4-colored, but that is Legacy these days, so what are you gonna do?